It's alright.
Oh my god!
Yo guys, what is up? Moxsy on Borderlands 3 video, and today we are talking about my new Fl4K build, Fettuccine Fl4K. Now, two things before we get into the skill tree and the build. One, I know the name of this build is a little bit of a joke, a little bit of a meme. I promise you though, this build is really good. This is my new go-to Fl4K build. I think it is better than 5G Fl4K, and I think it is better than Galactic Fl4K. In damage and survivability, it is crazy, and I urge you guys to try this build if you haven't given it a go or you haven't played Fl4K in a while, because it is extremely strong. Next, this build is an Italian-themed Fl4K build. I am trying to get a series of builds sponsored by like Olive Garden or like Bertolli, something kind of funny to go along with the videos. I think it'd be hilarious. A little ZD Zane, Meatball Moz, Alfredo Amara. And if you guys want to make that a possibility, if you guys want to help me out, because getting these sponsored, because I think that would be absolutely hilarious. There will be a pinned comment to a tweet where I tagged all of these brands, and I'm trying to get their attention to sponsor a series of Italian dinner themed Borderlands builds, because, you know, why not? Why not? The intro is going to play now. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and the build.
Welcome to Flavor Town.
Alright, I guess we're gonna farm clairvoyance. Easy Guardian takedown.
That delicious.
Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed that intro. Now, showing on this screen is the skill tree for Fettuccine Fl4K. Now, this is a blue tree capstone, red tree capstone, green tree build. Now, originally this build was going to be 5G Fl4K, and I looked at my old level 65 5G Fl4K, and I made a new updated 5G Fl4K, and I compared them, and they were exactly the same. Nothing is changing about the 5G Fl4K build. However, there was a change to dominance, which is what allows this build to exist and function so well. So we're going to talk about that, and then we're going to dive into the weapons and then the rest of the skill tree. Now, dominance was changed. If you did not know, and I'm just going to read this out, that whenever Fl4K attacks an enemy with a melee attack or scores a critical hit with a weapon while aiming down sights, they establish dominance over that enemy, turning it into an ally for a short time. If the enemy is a beast, the duration is doubled. While under the effect of dominance, other enemies are more likely to attack it and constantly lose health until it dies or the effect ends. Once dominance ends, Radiation Nova is created, centered on the enemy, and only one enemy can be dominated at a time. Now, this skill does not have a cooldown between enemies, and it works very similar to how the Red Fang class mod works. Now, if you guys are familiar with 5G Fl4K, you know that it is a Gamma Burst Red Fang build. That is what led to so much survivability. But in order to get that survivability, we one, needed to give up our class mod slot to Red Fang, and two, we had to use an action skill that isn't particularly amazing for damage because it's Gamma Burst. What Dominance is going to allow us to do is basically get Gamma Burst Red Fang effect in one skill. Whenever we aim down our sight with our weapon and we score a critical hit, we're going to dominate an enemy. Now, because we're using high pellet weapons, we've got Megavore, we're going to be dominating enemies anytime we shoot them. What's going to happen with that is they are all going to then attack that enemy that is dominated. Now, this is not as powerful as the Red Fang pet taunt. However, we are pairing that on top of that with Fade Away and the Not My Circus pet taunt. So we're basically not getting targeted at all at any time. There are 2 big aggro draws to our enemies, and we're going to be cycling fadeaway so fast that we're also not going to be getting shot at while we're in fadeaway. When we're shooting at things, enemies are going to be targeting each other, and they're going to be targeting our pet, which allows us to spec as much damage as we basically possibly can. We are taking the strongest, highest damage dealing Fl4K action skill, fadeaway. We are taking the highest damage, or one of the highest damage dealing annoyance on all of our weapons, URED, with Fl4K's best class mod, in my opinion, the Cosmic Stalker, and it just creates an amazing build that is going to give you good survivability and good damage. Now, in terms of, we'll talk more about the skill tree in depth because you guys have seen Fl4K skill trees. You guys have seen me walk through them. I'm going to go through the gear real quick, and then we'll finish off with the skill trees and the action skill. Now, the gear for this build is URED weapons. Now, you can use any URED weapon. However, because this is Fl4K, because we're doing fadeaway, you are going to want to prioritize weapons that work well with head count. This means that weapons that deal high fire rate, high pellet count weapons are going to be preferable with this build and work the best. The shining example of that is the Reflex. The Reflex is the best weapon for this build, and using it with URED is incredible. Things like the Light Show, the Monarch, the Hellwalker. I really wanted to get a Clairvoyance and a Robin's Call to show you guys on this build because I think they both work really, really well, but I farmed for 5.5 hours for a URED one on stream today, and I just didn't get one. The Dakota's great. Backburner, Plague Bear, Convergence, literally anything you want to use, but Reflex, Light Show, Monarch, Hellwalker are so far the best weapons that I've used. Now, there's 2 also shield setups for this. Now, there is, and this is important, there is the higher aggressive, higher damage setup, and then there is the less aggressive but way more survivable setup. And those 2 setups are between the front loader for the more aggressive setup and the Frozen Heart. Now, between these, on the front loader, you're going to be using an ASE anoint, and then on the Frozen Heart or like a Snowshoe, you're going to be use the action skill start anoint. And if you're going to use that, you're going to pair that with a Icebreaker Deathless. Now, these 2 setups I've used probably both in the intro, and there's a big difference between them, and it's kind of up to you guys what you use, and I'm going to explain why the one I like more I'm going to prefer, and why the Frozen Heart with Icebreaker Deathless is a little bit less good, but still really strong. Now, the Frozen Heart with Icebreaker Deathless is going to allow you to, when you hop into fadeaway, every time freeze everything around you, give you a V2 damage increase, give you good passives, and give you more tankiness because your shield is going to be larger. Frozen Heart Icebreaker Deathless works really well on this build, and on top of that, you're also going to benefit 100% of the time from Shared Spirit, which is going to give you 50% damage converted into your pet for healing, which is really nice. You're always going to be getting Hive Mind, and overall, it just works really well. Now, the other thing, and the biggest thing that's not as great about this, is you forfeit a action skill and ASC elemental anoint by using an action skill start. Everything is going to be frozen around you, everything is going to be taunted, and it's really hard to die with this setup. However, I have, after playtesting both of them, I prefer a front loader with the Pearl. Now, the reason I prefer that, and the reason I think the front loader is a little bit more of an aggressive setup, is because when you're using a front loader, you're going to get an ASC. Now, when you're using an ASC, and if you guys didn't know this is an important lesson on Fl4K. Fl4K and fadeaway synergizes with head count because it's going to give you that cooldown. Now, you're getting cooldown on crits, and you're getting crits from Megavore. Now, your ASCs, your action skill elements, anoints on your shield and on your grenade both have an individual chance to proc Megavore. So your gun has a chance to proc Megavore, and then your anoints also have a chance to proc Megavore, these elemental anoints. If you are using a non-anointed ASC shield, so that like this, you're not going to get this extra ASC, which is means you're going to be hitting for Megavore less, which is 1, less damage because you lose the ASC, but 2, you're going to lose a little bit of your fadeaway quickness, and you want to be cycling in and out of fadeaway really quickly for this build so that you can keep up your damage, keep up your ASCs, and keep up your taunts. Now, the next question that I know I'm going to get asked is, why aren't you using Gorillas in the Mist and you don't have the rest of these things? Well, first off, we don't need the rest of Green Tree. We don't need Green Tree because we don't need Rage and Recover. We don't need Health Regen. We don't need Power Inside. And we need Dominance because Dominance is a big part of our survivability. Need Megavore. So this is the setup. I wouldn't change any skill points here. The reason I don't like using Gorillas in the Mist, and you can use Gorillas in the Mist with weapons like the Monarch or the Light Show if you would like, but I prefer 3-shot fadeaway. And the reason I prefer 3-shot fadeaway for weapons like the Reflex and the Hellwalker is because you want to be in and out of your fadeaway as quickly as possible, because it is going to proc your ASCs, and you want to have those ASCs from your previous fadeaway into your next fadeaway. That's what cycling fadeaways means. And while you're in Gorillas in the Mist, you're going to be in your fadeaway for longer, and you're basically just kind of waiting for the damage to happen instead of procking the damage and then going back into the damage. It's harder to keep up consistent fadeaways and keep up the damage in Gorillas in the Mist, so I prefer not using an augment and just rocking Not My Circus. I know it looks a little weird, but I promise you it is very good and very efficient. Now, you do not need to use Gamma Burst with this build. If you wanted to just throw Red Fang and a Gamma Burst on, you totally could. You would be very, very tanky, but the Dominance plus the Red Fang plus the Gamma Burst is just redundant in my opinion and not needed. That's why I'm not changing 5G Flak, because 5G Flak is still not going to spec into Dominance because once again, it is redundant. It is not needed. On your Cosmic Stalker, which we are using for mobbing, I still think that when you switch to bossing, you should be using a Bounty Hunter. I really enjoy the Bounty Hunter. One trick that you can do with the Bounty Hunter is the Bounty Hunter, kind of like Zane Seeing Dead, has a chance to activate any purchased hunter kill skills when dealing gun damage. An amazing thing, and I use this for my Wotan fight, Grave Ward, Tron, anything, is you go into your fadeaway, or for example, if I proc Rack Attacks, I'm going to proc my ASCs, then I can go into fadeaway, throw my grenades. The Hunter Seekers deal gun damage, so all those bullets that they're shooting there will deal gun damage. Those will then proc my Bounty Hunter kill skills. I'm going to activate all of my kill skills, and then I'm good to just melt everything. And because I'm using U-Red, I'm getting a ton of damage, 3-shot fadeaway, ton of damage. It just works so well. Now, in terms of the skill tree, just some like important things. We don't need any points into Grim Harvest because action skill damage doesn't really affect us. This too small of a damage to really be important. We want the reload speed from Second Intention. If you are rocking a Cosmic Stalker, it is preferable to get points into big game. This is going to boost all of your hunter kill skills, duration and effect. This is part of the reason why Cosmic Stalker is so good, and it's going to give us amazing damage on our Interplanetary Stalker, which is going to be up all the time. Definitely want points. 3 out of 3 into big game is preferable, but definitely not needed. And yeah, that's kind of it. U-Red, Flak, Fadeaway. It's got survivability from Dominance and Fadeaway. You've got 2 taunts. You've got all the damage you need. You can use any weapon. You have a super aggressive setup with the front loader Pearl, and then a less aggressive but tankier but slightly less damage with the Frozen Heart and the Icebreaker Deathless, and then Cosmic Stalker, Bounty Hunter, and Mitosis Hunter Seekers for your grenades. It works really well. The save file will be in the Discord. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you want to make my dreams come true and get sponsored by an Italian pasta company, I don't know. I think we're losing it. But there will be a pinned comment to a tweet, which I tag all of these pasta companies in because I want ZD Zane to be an official sponsored build. I will catch you guys in the next one. Take care. Peace.